Dave Aronberg is the state attorney in Florida. He has been following this case very closely with us all along the way. Dave, is always great to see you. Talk to me about the Crumbly situation right now and this conflict of interest with joint representation. They ultimately have the decision on who represents them, correct?
Right, correct. And it is important for the prosecution and the judge to make sure that this is not a setup from the Crumbly parents so that they can have two bites at the apple. Once at trial, and then if they lose, they could say, hold on, we didn't get a fair trial. We had ineffective assistance of counsel because we were both represented by the same law firm. And so they had a conflict of interest because it is very common for even a married couple who get along right now pretty well to start pointing the fingers at each other as the trial commences, and then they would be in a pickle. So the prosecution and the judge don't want that to happen. They are going to say that if you want to have the same law firm represent you both, you're going to have to sign a waiver so you don't get an automatic reversal on appeal. And we're also going to appoint separate lawyers for each of you.
And they would be tried separately, correct?
No, they can be tried together. It's just that the lawyers that have been assigned by the court will be assigned to each of them and apparently paid for by taxpayers, but they also will have the same lawyers that they initially wanted. So essentially they're going to have two lawyers each. One lawyer will have their own specific interests at heart and will not communicate with the other lawyer. But then the initial lawyer who they both wanted, they work for the same law firm. And so there's a conflict there because what happens if they have to point fingers at each other? It looks like the mom may be more culpable than the father here. And so that's why it could be right for an appeal. If there's a guilty verdict, they could say, hold on, my lawyer didn't have my best interests at heart. Also, they had access to information they should not have because they both work for the same law firm. That's why the judge did what she did today.
Right. And you and I have talked about the mom potentially being more culpable because of these text messages. So I want to put a few up on the screen for people at home and talk to you about this. So we have a text exchange between Jennifer Crumbley, mom, and son Ethan. This is the day before the shooting happened. And Jennifer texts Ethan saying, seriously, looking up bullets in school? What? Oh, yeah, I already went to the office for that. Ethan says it was first hour. All I did was look up a certain caliber at the end of the class because I was curious. Then Jennifer responds a couple of hours later and says, LOL, I'm not mad. You have to learn not to get caught. So is this the most damning for Jennifer Crumbley, that text a day before he carried out this massacre?
It's terrible for her, Marnie. But also is pretty damning is the fact that after the parents, were called to the administration's office and they were shown their child's drawings, not once they mentioned to the school officials that they had purchased a gun for their son. The school didn't know he had access to a gun. The parents never asked to search the book bag. The parents never asked the son if he had the gun. And also importantly, the parents refused to drive their son home. They left him at school, and that's when he committed the tragedy.
And so then we've got the text messages after the shooting, and I want to put this up. And this is, again, from Jennifer, and this is an exchange with her boss at the time. She says, the gun is gone, so are the bullets. The boss responds, I'm praying everything's okay. Jennifer says, Andy, he's going to kill himself. He must be the shooter. Is a text like this after the fact admissible in court? And could the defense use this to benefit her and say she didn't know he was going to do this? Clearly, she's saying, oh, my gosh, my son may have done this.
Yes, it would be admissible, but also I think it hurts the defendant because it shows that, look, she assumed right away that he is the shooter. Well, why would you assume that? Because you knew your son was a ticking time bomb. And what did you do about it? Did you get him counseling? Did you get him help? No. You bought him a gun. And then when he was crying out for help, you LOL'd him. It's very similar to what they did after he was put in a jail cell, after he was arrested. What did the parents do? They fled, and when they were arrested, they hired a private lawyer for themselves and left their son with a public defender.
What about James Crumbley and all this? He bought the gun. Prosecutors argue it wasn't secured. He is the one who called 911. Does his defense look different, and how so?
Yes, and that's why the judge wanted to make sure that they waived their right to not appeal. So, for example, the judge knew that the father probably could have a claim against the mother saying that, hey, it was her fault. She's the one to blame. And if they're found guilty, then they both could say ineffective assistance of counsel. We should not have been represented by the same lawyer. And that's why the judge is making them sign a waiver. And that's why the judge is making them get their own lawyer. Because although the parents are in cahoots right now, they're all buddy-buddy, and they have spousal privilege, meaning they can't be forced to testify against each other, that could end. They could both decide to each their own, go their separate ways, and try to save themselves. So that's why the judge and the prosecution wanted to prevent a mistrial or a reversal on appeal. It's been known to happen before in situations like this.
It's anyone's guess. Real quick, Dave, I'm out of time, but do the parents' proceedings have any bearing on Ethan Crumbly's court appearances and what's next for him?
No, two separate cases.
Yep.
And the parents need to worry about their own case, because I think that the prosecution has a really good set of facts against them.
Well, we're going to be following it very closely. Dave, as always, we appreciate your insight. Good to see you. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.